Hey, everybody. This week I want to talk about something that I believe in deeply, which is always leave them wanting more. Now, if I practiced it as well as I believe in it, this video would probably be under a minute, but we all know that's not going to happen. So let's talk about what that really means. And it means a lot of different things. So it can be as simple as this. When you're playing a set of disco music, don't play till everybody walks off the dance floor and they're sick of it. Do a couple of songs while it's still going great, move on to something else. That will allow you to come back and do more disco later, right? Because they're like, yeah, we're doing that again, right? One of the reasons I've been an advocate for so long of shortening songs is leave them wanting more. So those of you who were around in the 90s during the Macarena craze, we had to play it. That wasn't an option. Like in 96, 97, like it had to be played at every event. But it's such a repetitive dance. And, after you've gone 4 rounds, like let it go. So we would get out of it earlier. And the same can be said of, whether you're doing, newer stuff like the Cupid Shuffle. It's not real new, but, or the electric slide or any kind of repetitive dance, like leave too soon so you can come back to it. And I think the same thing applies then on a larger scale to weddings. I think one of the mistakes that people make is they want the reception to go too long. And our clients, completely understandably, they have the venue till midnight and they're starting at 4 and they say, so we want to go till midnight. That's a long reception. That's 8 hours of reception. And, even if you have a lot of other things that are mixed into that, that's 4 or 5 hours of dancing. I mean, people don't even really typically go to clubs and dance for 4 or 5 hours, right? Leave them wanting more. I'd rather have at the end of the night, I'd rather have guests feeling like, oh my God, I wish this had gone on longer, as opposed to, man, I'm going to go. I've had enough. I'm done, and have it fizzle out. Leave at the top of your game, right? So that can be, your sales meetings. I was horrible at. I went way too long. My minutes, go way too long. And this is me trying to do the short version, right? So this is not like I don't make the attempt and be aware of it. Otherwise, it would be even worse. Years and years ago, I had a friend who I was leaving a job and I had just, done some really great things at this company. And he said, I can't believe you're leaving. Like you're on top of everything. I was like, yeah, it seems like a pretty good time to go. And I went to another company where I'd accomplished some really good things, right? It was making a lot of money and things were going really well. And I left that to become a DJ. And when that happened, my income dropped by like seriously 80%, right? It was horrible when I first started. And my same friend was in my wedding and he said to me, you're weird. You do this. Like you're just, every time you're like on top, you go, and now you're going to do this thing. And like, yeah, some of it's the challenge. I enjoy doing that. I retired from being a DJ at 62. I still am pretty healthy and was doing well and the business was good, but it felt like, let's go and say, I wish Randy had stuck around a little bit longer. This is the last recording that we're doing for November. We have 4 or 5 weeks in December. And then that's it for A Minute with Randy Bartlett. I mean, we've done 160 of these minutes, right? We know they're not minutes. I hope people will miss them. I have a 1% Solution group. It's done really well. It's been, I think, one of the most successful Facebook groups there are because we manage it really well. But, that's going to cease to exist. Not going to be selling the DVDs anymore. I mean, all of those things are going to go away because I want people to miss it And the old, how can we miss you if you won't go away? I mean, that's part of it, right? So, I retired from being a DJ. I mostly retired from speaking engagements. I did a couple more after my, official retirement. And then, but I never said I would never do that again. And, now I've sort of stepped away. And again, never say never. Like, listen, I could see a scenario where I sometimes do something. I know that there's, I have at least one company next year that I've agreed to do some training. I've trained with them before, and I'll do that. So it's not that it can't exist, but keep that thought in mind when you're doing your finale, right? Like, and you have to set that up during the planning session with the bride and groom. You have to say, listen, we can go till midnight, but do you really want it to just be the three of us left and that's it? I used to talk about in San Francisco. We're in north of San Francisco, but we're big 49er market. And I used to talk about the difference of the retirement of Joe Montana versus John Elway. And like, well, what kind of an ending do you want? Like Joe Montana at the end of his career went to play for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? He ended up as a backup quarterback. That's the end of a Hall of Fame career. But John Elway went out with a Super Bowl parade. I mean, that's the way to end it, right? Let's end that party with your Super Bowl parade. Let's have people going, I wish it had gone longer. Not ridiculously so, right? You shouldn't, John Elway didn't retire 4 years in to his career. I'm not suggesting that you give it all up or that you end a party that's raging, but I'm saying don't wait for it to wane. You can read better than the client can. Like you'll see things. You see a few people that are starting to get their coats and gather their belongings, and you can see it's going to be ending soon. Our finale was a really big deal for us, and I made the finale a huge thing. As a result, the downside of that was people would say, don't end it now. I mean, you're really going now. Yeah, it's going really phenomenal right now because it's the finale. That's why it's like watching a fireworks show and then the big finale and everything's happening. And, the whole sky is lit up. People don't go, well, don't stop now. Like, no, we built up to the finale. Build up to your finale, whether it's the end of a party, the end of a career, the end of a meeting, whatever you want to do, the end of a minute. This is the end of my minutes for November of 2021. I'll see you for either 4 or 5 more in December. And I hope that I've been able to be of some help to you along the way. Is my minute up? Yeah, my minute's up.